Hello, and welcome to Philadelphia Music, Dance, and Modern Art Show, where we highlight Philadelphia's creative people. This week we're here with Jo Pincushion. She does a podcast, and we met her at PhillyCAM. We were doing the podcast festival, was it?
Yes, the podcast festival.
Right, and you hosted that.
I did I moderated a discussion panel, and I also did a presentation on what is podcasting, because apparently I'm an expert.
Well, apparently she is. That's not an apparently, it's a fact. She does a podcast. She does it consistently. You're working on your second season?
Yes.
Is that what we taped, right?
Yes, we're in the middle of the second season, and it's going well.
It's going well. Okay, awesome. We taped, it was Haley Jane and Mike Fenn.
Yes.
Right? And they did the Get Your Geek On section.
Yes. Mike Fenn primarily contributes to the Get Your Geek On segment, and Haley Jane contributes to Get Your Geek On and Sexy Time, which we'll get to later.
Sexy Time, yes. We'll talk about that after we see a little bit more of that.
But Haley Jane is a local burlesque performer, and Mike Fenn is a geek. He writes for Geekadelphia. He writes for the Daily Dot. So I figured let's have some more fresh faces on the Pincushion podcast. So those two people, they came and they approached me, and I'm excited to have them on the show.
Okay, excellent. Now, could you tell us how you chose your other co-host? I mean, how do you know that you're going to have the chemistry with them? How are you able to decipher who gets onto the podcast?
Honestly, it's a process of who I think will actually follow through and do work. I had a lot of inquiries when I was talking about how looking for co-hosts and things like that. I got so many emails, and then I sent a really long email back, and everyone went, "Oh my God, this is work. I'm not going to do it." So everything quickly dwindled down, and then I usually set up a meeting for us to meet face to face, and it's going to sound so bad. If they don't show up, obviously they don't get on the podcast.
Well, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had guests that are no show, and you can't really put them on if they're not here.
But if I'm going to be producing a podcast every week, I got to know that these people are going to take the time to do work, because podcasting's not something that just happens. I don't wake up in the morning and have a podcast ready. No? I actually do work.
No? Oh my God.
It's actually a lot of work. Yes.
A lot of work.
So anyone who's willing to do a lot of work and is a really good conversationalist, does research really well, and wants to have fun, I guess.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got into podcasting? I mean, do you have a background in radio broadcast?
I went to LaSalle University for communications, and I did some audio stuff while I was there, obviously. But I did a podcast briefly for Geekadelphia.
Right.
And I learned a little bit of how I wanted podcasts to go. Like, I listen to podcasts a lot. And actually, the way that the Pincushion podcast came about was I got offered to do a job on an online internet radio station, and they were like, all right, you'll produce it, you'll edit it, and it'll air Thursdays at 8, and you'll get a percentage of the sponsors if you ever get any. And I was like, if I'm going to be doing all this work, why would I have it only air once a week and share the profits of the sponsors that I'm going to try to get? No. So then I opened up a Podomatic account, which was a really easy way to upload your podcasts. And I asked a few of my friends, hey, do you want to talk to me about stuff? So Hey,
do you want to talk with me?
Yeah.
You want to be my friend?
I knew that I wanted to be formatted. I don't like podcasts where people are just talking about certain things. So I came up with the idea, and I got the ball rolling, and I'm rolling that ball up the hill still.
Rolling. It's what we all do.
Yeah.
It's what we all do in life in general. Even more so on the creative front to be seen. I mean, we're in a world where everybody has a stage with the internet now. So, how do you differentiate yourself? Geeking it out? How do you even call it out?
Is that what the kids are calling it?
Because this is like you said 3 things that we geek already. So, tell me more about the geek thing.
Well, I've been a contributor of Geekadelphia for a while now. I think maybe like 2 or 3 years. I go to conventions. I dress in cosplay. So everybody can relate to being a geek, and geek is cool right now, or popular, because of the way we grew up and the way that we're around media constantly. So I like to embrace the geek culture, and I like to talk about it.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. We're going to see Mike Fenn do his geek thing. We're going to also see Miss Jane.
Haley Jane.
Miss Haley Jane. We're going to see their segment on the Jo Pincushion podcast, and we'll be right back.
It's time to get your geek on. I am here with Mike Fenn, and you can find him on Twitter at Mike Covers. And this week we're going to be talking about a particular horror icon that everyone has to love if you're a horror fan. It's Freddy Krueger, and we're going to be talking about his 5 best kills, which is a tough thing to decide because
It really is, because Freddy's background is that he kills people in their dreams, and he has the power to manipulate those dreams. So he can get very, very creative.
Very creative, and it's very elaborate sometimes.
Oh, it is. It is. These movies had budget. And for the record, I'm going to exclude the recent Nightmare on Elm Street remake, because I don't believe that counts.
You don't believe it exists?
Fuck Jackie Earl Haley. I don't care that Robert Englund gave him his blessing. Fuck him. He's tiny, and he was a special effect.
All right. Well, now that you're done, cursing out the new stuff. No, I agree with that. I mean, old classic Freddy's the way to go.
Robert Englund just brought magic to the role.
He was. So tell me some of his best kills. What's the first one you're gonna?
The best one I think in the entire series is Jennifer from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. She is a huge TV fan, and she's like, "Oh, when I get out of here, I'm going to become an actress." And so she's sitting there in the common room watching TV, and she's watching the Dick Cavett show? Cavett?
I don't know.
I don't know. He was in Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And he's interviewing Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Oh, I did remember Zsa Zsa.
And he says, "Can I ask you something?" She's like, "Of course, my love." "Who gives a fuck what you think?" And kills Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yes.
And then pops out of the TV set, grabs Jennifer, and looks her in the face.
And what's the line that he says?
"This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch!"
And then he kills her.
Shoves her head into the TV set. And interesting trivia about that. Robert Englund ad-libbed the line, "Welcome to prime time, bitch."
That's good. And that's just that's the great thing about Freddy's. He always had these one-line puns before he killed anybody.
Yeah, Jason didn't do anything when he killed someone. He just kind of slit their throat. Freddy always had a nice, one-liner.
Thank you for this, Mike. And
yes.
we'll talk to you again. It's sexy time. I am here with Haley Jane. You can find her on Facebook, facebook.com/IamHaleyJane. And we have a problem. We have a dilemma. We can't find, when it comes to sex and relationship advice, any straight dudes dishing out advice these days.
Where are the straight dudes? I think it has to deal with a little bit of a sort of shame involved in a lack of knowledge of sexuality. Men admitting that they don't know something.
Straight men don't ask for directions when they're lost on the way to
clitorises.
Clitorises or, venues or stuff like that. So they don't normally, that's the thing, I don't think guys like to ask for directions much. Men have to be more, yes, this is what I want. I feel like they're afraid to say, this is what I want, and this is what I want done to me, because they feel like they're being negative towards women. Be like, look, I don't have a problem with a guy saying, hey, I like my dick sucked. Here's how I want my dick sucked. And I'd be like, you know what? I'd gladly do that for you.
It's thank you for telling me, because I've just been sort of wandering around in the blowjob forest, trying to find the blowjob fairy.
Yeah.
Hoping it'll tell me what you like. There's a lot of trial error that I would rather just skip past. Just tell me what the deal is.
I feel like if a man came forward and spoke about sex openly
in a positive and not objectifying way,
which is why part of the thing that I like about Sexy Time and I want people to walk away with is to be able to go to their partners and say to them, hey, this is what I like, this is what I want. I feel like if there's more people who will positively talk about sex in a great non-judgmental way, it'll break down the barriers of taboo that we've had for such a long time, and women won't feel as self-conscious to tell them, hey, when you're fingering me, do this or something like that, and guys won't be as won't feel like they're offending their partner if they say, hey, could you lick my butt when you suck my balls?
How can you do that at the same time?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't done it, so I don't know. I'll have to ask Ed down maybe if he's done it. He's saying yes. But I feel like we need to be in a society where we can openly talk about it, because your relationship, sex is an important part of your relationship.
And people who say it's not are assuming they're not asexual, are lying.
Yeah.
If you are asexual, then that's awesome.
That's great.
You're dealing with a lot less fluids than the rest of us are.
I've never met an asexual person.
I have. They're usually calmer.
If you have opinions, if you know what you like,
opinions that can be presented in an intelligent and socially conscious way.
We're not talking about, we
don't want you to send anonymous things to the Tumblr and tell us how you want us to suck your dick. That's not what we're talking about.
What I'm asking you to
What we're saying is, Can you involve us in an intelligent conversation about sex without it being like, oh, I fucked all these bitches, or I don't want to talk about the fact I had sex with a girl once.
Or the other aspect of it, which is people like mystery, the pickup artist,
Jesus
the game.
Christ.
I don't want to hear a guy talking about how he can pick up a bunch of girls and.
This isn't about the act of picking up.
This is about having good sex,
enjoying sex,
enjoying it,
and being afraid of it.
There you go. All right. Well, we're calling everyone out, and this is a
calling you
challenge.
out, dudes.
All right. Thank you, Haley Jane, and we'll talk to you again.
Ciao.
And welcome back. Ray here, your host, Philadelphia Music Dance Modern Art Show with Joe Pincushion from the Joe Pincushion Podcast. That was just Sexy Time. Was the last
the Joe
segment
Pincushion Podcast. It's
what?
the Pincushion Podcast.
The Pincushion Podcast. We are going to have a link for you guys to find it. You'll see it come up on the screen right now. And they can follow that link if you'd like to hear more of Joe's stuff. Her geek stuff, her retro stuff, her sexy stuff. She's very funny, very entertaining.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, she does a lot of stuff. Plenty of stuff for the Philadelphia people and the world. This is a podcast. It's all over the place.
It's not just Philly.
So, you want to talk a little bit about the Sexy Time. Wait. I want to get a little bit deeper. Let me finish my question. This is a deep part. This is a two-part question.
It's going to try to make me cry?
No, never that. The name Joe Pincushion.
Yes.
Okay. Sexy Time. We just came from that. Tell us about Joe Pincushion.
Okay.
What does it mean? What I heard it means.
What did you hear it means?
A pincushion gets pins stuck into it. So it's just it's a reference for a woman because of her vagina.
Oh, so you think that's why I go by it? Because I want lots of pins in my cushion?
I don't know. I mean, it could be the innuendo. Sex sells, and we're in a media market where you want to sort of sell. It doesn't mean that you're actually getting a lot of pins, unless you are.
No, it's okay.
I mean, what even makes a lot Pins?
Yeah,
really? It's such a subjective thing, but please elaborate.
Well, when you go on Urban Dictionary and you look up a pincushion and definition, I'm not going to say it now, but it's a really bad definition. I've been going by Joe Pincushion since I was 15, and I had my screen name.
Okay.
It's a Tim Burton reference.
Okay.
There's a short illustration book called The Tragic Death of Oyster Boy and Other Tales. I'm such a bad Tim Burton fan, I don't remember it. But the one character, the Pincushion Queen, I feel like I identify with. And the book was animations with a short little poem, and the Pincushion Queen's was, life isn't easy for the Pincushion Queen. When she sits on her throne, pins push through her spleen. And that was me being the emo 15-year-old that I was. I was like, I'm so like the Pincushion Queen. But, and then as I got older, Joe Pincushion went into my website, my Twitter, and everything. It just stayed with me, and I figured, since our generation, we live half online and half offline, I'm going to take my online personality and make it part of my online personality, of my real-life personality. Like, I'm a scriptwriter. I sign everything by Joe Pincushion. Everything that I write is Joe Pincushion. So rather than having being hidden behind this screen name and this online personality, I've brought it to the real world, and I've made it my own. So it's half a Tim Burton homage and half a commentary on my generation and how we live online.
Okay. And
and it's not about sex, assholes.
Everything's about sex. You're a woman.
I can't believe that.
And it's just, I'm a man, and that's just the way nature and God intended. FYI, it's just my philosophy on sex.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of your other hosts. The Sexy Time,
Yes.
Jackie Chipotle.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about her.
Jackie Chipotle has been with the podcast since the beginning. She has been in it.
How long's the podcast been? I don't mean to cut off.
We launched in August, I think, of 2011 or 12.
Okay. So she's been here for the
12. Yeah, she's been here since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
And she talks about sex and relationships with me. When we first met, we have a very interesting history that I'm not going to get into. But we used to talk about guys, and I would confide in her.
It's not sex with you. Sex or relation with you.
It's just
That's what you said. She talks with you about sex and relations. I didn't know.
Well, I was always.
Did the scissors?
No, we haven't. No, it's not.
Okay.
No.
I was just checking. Just checking. It was just.
Yeah, no, always with the sex.
I'm inquiring. We're talking about sexy
inquiring
time.
this, I'm actually going to say it. The reason why I love sexy time so much, I did some relationship blogging for a while, a few years ago, and I enjoyed to give guys advice on girls, and I found that it was really easy for me to do that. And I like talking about sex, but there's this thing where a woman that talks about sex is automatically assumed to have a lot of sex with a lot of different people.
Okay.
I want sexy time to be a place where people can openly talk about things that they're afraid of, things that they don't know, and even like jokingly like give each other advice. The reason why I like sex positive content is
that's a good word.
Yeah,
I like that frame.
Take away the stigma of just because this girl talks about sex all the time, that means she's a pincushion. She does like all these things, but I want girls to be able to ask questions, to be able to talk about what they want and what they don't want, and not have to worry about what people are going to think of them.
Right.
So, I mean, you guys can ask me how slutty I am all you want. I'm just going to sit there and be like, no. And if naked pictures ever leak of me, I'll be like, yeah, those are my boobs, whatever. But it doesn't mean that just because a girl talks about sex doesn't mean that she's going to automatically like be a loosey-goosey.
Of course,
things like that. So.
I completely concur with regards to sex positivity and the nature of humanity. Most people are having sex if they're adults.
Sex is fun.
Sex is fun. Damn right.
It's a free thing that we were given by nature to have like a really good time.
Of course.
You take away alcohol and you take away like any other thing, and then sex is just there. I'd be like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Wake up one day and there's no booze or anything else on the planet.
No vices, just sex. Why not? Why?
Sure. Yeah. All right.
We could talk all day about sex. Obviously, go look at the girl on the side in my show. I could talk with sex about her all day long. But we're on to the next part.
Yes.
We're also going to show Retro Corner. That's the next segment of your show that you do. Okay, it's a new segment.
Ben Leach blogs for the Pincushion.
Ben Leach?
Ben Leach,
okay.
yes. Who you go to joepincushion.com. There's a little blog there. People update all the time. I have really great contributors. And Ben is a collector, and he loves vintage toys and clothes and games and stuff. Right. So Mike Fenn actually wanted to start talking about that stuff on the podcast. So I thought, oh my God, Ben's really great at this stuff. Why don't I bring him off of the blog and put him on the podcast? So he comes in and we talk about things like Animaniacs. We talk about Bill Cosby used to have this video series that taught kids how to draw or
I remember
something.
that one. Yeah.
He finds these at thrift stores and collector shows, and he talks about them. And I like vintage things. I like old time things, and it's really a lot of people are really interested in it. So I thought, why not bring it to the podcast?
I found it very interesting when I sat and taped, the whole segment. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, when you grow up and you don't see something for several years, and then somebody brings it up, and you're like, oh, I played Zelda, or I did that, or
I loved talking about Animaniacs, and
I watch that show all the time. Yeah.
Ugh, I'm old. 20th anniversary Animaniacs, but I mean, we're getting to the age of I just want to be nostalgic, so I just want to talk about stuff.
Old like a fine wine, she is. Okay, we're gonna see some of Jackie Chipotle and Joe, as well as Ben and Joe, and their two segments, and we'll be back right after that. Thanks a lot, Philly. See you soon.
Man, that's so vintage. I am here with Ben Leach. You can find him on Twitter at BenLikesRetro, and also CollectorGene.com. He is a vintage and retro aficionado, I would say, and he also writes the column on the Pincushion called Retro Corner. What's up, Ben?
Hello.
So what's the first thing we're going to talk about is a show that I love, and it is Animaniacs, and it's celebrating its 20th anniversary premiere.
I know. Nothing like making you feel old that the show from your childhood is now old enough to be in college.
It's depressing.
Yes, it is. And the thing is, because Animaniacs felt like it was a build-up, because I had grown up with Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons, and Animaniacs was something I anticipated. So for that to be 20 years old is kind of remarkable.
This show also did some spin-offs with some other characters.
Right. I don't know about you, but Pinky and the Brain was far superior in the 7-minute format on Animaniacs than its full show. It just, even as a kid, even as 11, like I should have been like, because Pinky and the Brain was by far the best one they had. And not to knock the other ones, I love Slappy Squirrel.
There's like one back and forth from Pinky and the Brain that I remember is like, Brain says to Pinky, do you know what I'm thinking, Pinky? And then he's like, oh, I know, but where are we going to find a tattoo parlor at this time of night? I don't know. That's why I remember it.
Right,
as a child.
well, and there's something to be said about brevity. You know, they'd set up the scheme.
Yeah.
Brain was just so odd looking that like you couldn't help but fall in love with him. And then the one that I always loved was the Jeopardy one, where it was Brain, but like he was in this robot suit. They kept calling him Brian. And then they were the final Jeopardy question was what character is known for saying "bang zoom" right in the kisser, which Pinky had been saying like the entire episode, and it's just and there was always something like that.
I really don't think they make cartoons like this anymore.
No,
like everything's 15-minute formats. There is adult humor, but it's not as smart. It's not as quick. I mean, Adventure Time's a great show. I actually like Regular Show a lot, but Animaniacs had a lot of layers and had a lot of homages to Universal Studios and stuff like that. And I'd say it still holds up. Those of you that are our age and have children, I highly recommend pulling out the DVDs, going on YouTube, and showing your kids Animaniacs. Because like we said, it's fun, it's funny, it's for adults, but they also learn things.
Right.
Alright, well, thanks for talking to us about Animaniacs, and we'll talk to you again, Ben. It's sexy time. I'm here with Jackie Chipotle. You can find her on Twitter at Jackie Chipotle. And this week, we're going to talk about something that I'm sure a lot of you partake in. And I think a lot of you should partake in. What is that, Jackie?
We're talking about dirty talk.
Dirty talk. So, do you talk dirty?
I do talk dirty. Frequently and often.
Filthy little minx.
I know, and I'm always trying to think of new things to do and say. And I'm a very, very big proponent of dirty talk.
I love dirty talk. I love it when the guy, talks to me, and I like saying filthy things. But part of me, I mean, we'll get to this, but part of me feels like I'm running out of
things to say, right? I know. I think that's a big challenge with dirty talk.
It's like, how you're with someone and you say I love you for the first time, and it's like,
right.
Oh, and then you say
like,
I love you with everything, and you're like, does it really have the same effect?
Right. It doesn't sort of pack the same punch, And it's only so many times where you can go, oh yeah,
stick this and that,
yeah, pump my pussy, and then you're like, the first time you say it, it's really
Is
hot.
that one of the things that you say?
Yeah.
Pump my pussy.
Yeah. Doesn't it sound kind of dirty and weird?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And it's sort of, I like dirty talk because I like the fact that, well, my partner really enjoys it, first of all, and also it kind of is a gateway or sort of a subtler way to get into like fantasy and fantasy play.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of more convenient when you don't have the time to do like full out kind of, role playing and anything else. Like, you could kind of narrate that as it's going on and put really dirty pictures and feelings into your partner's head that really will sort of get them going and get them there. Yeah.
So, how do you persuade someone to dirty talk? Have you ever been in a situation where someone, either you wanted to dirty talk or they wanted to dirty talk and you weren't really feeling it?
I mean, I've never been in the position where I've done it and it's been sort of rebuffed or not welcome.
Okay.
But I will say that it's difficult if the other person is sort of not into it. Like, my partner loves it when I do it, but he doesn't really participate in himself, and not because he doesn't want to, but because he's just always saying well, I don't really know what to say.
We're gonna help our listeners. Basically,
okay.
Dirty talk is just taking an adjective, a noun, and a really filthy verb, and just you only really need half a sentence.
That's true.
So really, when you're dirty talking, you're taking these tiny phrases, take your throbbing cock, and put it in my wet or slutty pussy.
Right.
So just
And welcome back, Philadelphia. That was Sexy Time, Retro Corner, Jackie Chipotle and Ben
Leach.
Ben Leach. And we're back here with Joe Pincushion. We've been having a great conversation with her. Joe, could you tell us what you have going on in the future? What's your next plans? You have the Pincushion.
Yes.
That we're going to talk about a little bit more, but what's going on next?
I'm also working with Scrapple TV or Woodshop Films. They have a YouTube channel called Scrapple TV, and I do
Scrapple as in Philadelphia
as in
Dutch
Philadelphia, the Scrapple.
SCRAPPLE.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm doing a show for them called Creepy Basement, where I interview local and we're hoping national horror people in my creepy basement. So I'm hoping to do a lot more of that. So if you go to Scrapple TV, you will see me. I interviewed Lloyd Kaufman. That was a lot of fun.
Is it scrappletv.com? No, scrapple.tv? How can they find you?
It's the YouTube. I'll send it to you, but it's the YouTube channel for Woodshop Films.
Okay.
And if you Google Scrapple TV, you will
Well, I'm going to put it on the screen for our people.
Scrapple TV.
And our website.
And really, I'm just trying to work on a lot of writing, trying to get the podcast out there more. If any of you have anything you want to promote or any music, send an email to the pincussionpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm just hoping to grow more. I mean, we're doing an event, we did an event in November, and we're hoping to do more things like that to build awareness. And we raised money for Philabundance, and I really hope to be able to do more things like that, where we raise money for various charities around Philadelphia.
Okay. Excellent. We're going to end the show today with the final segment of your show. It's also a new segment. It was Ed Dunleavy?
Eddie Dunleavy.
Eddie Dunleavy was your co-host.
We did theater together when we were really, really little, and that's how I know Ed.
Okay, so you're a theater girl. That's what this all stems
That's
from.
what the
theater.
attention's all about. Yeah, it's I'm a theater person.
We all love attention. I do a little theater myself. I've been getting some emails, Philadelphia. This look is not going to stay. This is my mountain man look. I have a part in the show, so that's what this is for. I'll go back to the mohawk and the cute look for you girls. You know what I'm talking about in a little bit. So tell us, the segment is Gay Old Times.
Gay Old Times.
Gay Old Times.
I love the gays. They're
Okay.
like they're my BFFs. I have so many friends I care about and have there are a lot of issues going on when it comes to
LBGT.
There are a lot of issues going on when it comes to the LGBT
okay.
community. And I want to be able to talk about it. I want to be able to address stereotypes and knock them down. Because same thing with the sex thing. I just want to talk candidly about things that people don't know about. Like for one episode, we talked about poppers. Not a lot of people know what that is.
Poppers.
There are dangers.
I learned about it as I was taping as well. This was new to me.
Yeah, I mean and there are things that I want to learn from my gay friends, and there are things that I want to educate my gay friends, and I also want to stand up for their rights because they're going through a lot of stuff right now. So, but Gay Old Time is fun, and my friend Eddie Dunleavy is really fun. So. Okay,
excellent. Well, this is a segment for the gays, the Gay Old Time, and
for the gays.
I don't mean to say it that way. I'm not trying to be offensive. I do some work with some drag queens in the city.
I know some gay people.
The dumpster players, and I have some uncles as well. So it's not meant to be offensive, but it's funny to say the gays. It's for the gays. So Gay Old Time. So check out this last segment, and this is the end of our show. After that, and I will see you next week at a new episode. Thanks a lot for watching, Philadelphia. Take care.
This is going to be fabulous!
You're such a bitch.
I am here with Eddie Dunleavy, a longtime friend.
Oh, birth. No.
Since we were I would say 10 maybe? I was 10.
There's no way you... Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, then that would make me, what, 8?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Eons ago. Eddie is part of a new segment that we're going to have called Gay Old Time, as you heard from the theme song.
Yep.
And he will be telling us about various LGBT topics in and around the Philadelphia area, or just in general. And this week, you can find Eddie on YouTube at Edward Dunleavy. He likes his mother's name to be put on his YouTube channel. The name his mother gave him. Sorry,
yes.
Not his mother's name.
My good Christian name.
Good Christian. Edward Dunleavy.
Yeah.
So you can find him on YouTube at that. This week we're going to talk about something that my gay friends have talked about, and I never was exposed to it. I didn't really know what it was. They're poppers.
Oh, God, they're so good.
So, poppers are, just for everyone that is not fully aware, poppers are used when you have sexual encounters, I guess.
Well,
sexual encounters. Stop laughing.
Well, not always.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that that's where it's primarily used.
Oh, well, that's the best time to use them. No, I've had friends that are like, oh, let's go out dancing, and then so we're dancing, and
so
they'll pull out.
What are poppers?
Poppers, okay. Well, when you go into a porn store, because that's the only place you can buy them, they market them as VHS cleaner, or
because they're a VHS player.
Yeah, they say VHS cleaner, nail polish remover, stuff like that, and basically what it is, it's a liquid in a tiny bottle that you sniff. You don't get the liquid in your nose.
Mm-hmm, you just huff it.
You just huff it. And what it does is it cuts off sort of oxygen to your brain and gives you the
so
same...
when people choke themselves and masturbate.
Right, yeah, it's like that.
So you're basically depriving your brain of oxygen but having really fucking good sex.
And it's an experience. I should have brought some, we should have done them.
Yeah, we should have.
Would have gotten real awkward.
Live, interesting podcasts.
Well, no, but here's the thing. It only lasts for like, well, for me now.